and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle that only appeared on Logic Masters Germany yesterday, and I think it has broken the record for how many times we've had this puzzle requested already. I think we're up to 11. 11 times this puzzle has been suggested / recommended to us in less than 24 hours. It is absolutely remarkable. It's called This Way Please, and it's by Mr. Menace. Mr. Menace is, his puzzles are always brilliant. But this one apparently is an absolutely special puzzle, and it's meant to be genuinely approachable. So if you find some of the puzzles that we do very tricky, and you'd be in good company, then this one might be one to devote some time to. It should be doable. It's got a very interesting rule as well. It looks like arrow Sudoku, but there's an interesting twist on it I've noticed at the end of the rules, which I will read you in just a moment. Two things to mention first. Tomorrow night, 10 PM UK time, Mark and I are returning to the good ship Obra Dinn to try and solve more murders. We'd love to have your company, so hope to see you there. I'll try and remember to put a link to that on the screen right now. The other link I will put up is to this video, which has finally been released on the channel. So we released this on Patreon a couple of weeks ago. It's my solve of Two Truths and a Lie by Zetamath. This is a puzzle some people are describing as the best Sudoku there has ever been. I totally understand that, having solved it. It's just a masterpiece. Do give it some time. You can play this puzzle right now by clicking the link under this video. It's got a long set of rules, but the rules are all standard, and it is a joy. So yeah, you can either have a go at that or watch me solve it on the channel right now. And do leave some nice comments if you do enjoy either of those things, because I'm sure Zetamath, he certainly deserves the plaudits, so it would be nice for him to get some. Now, let's go back to Mr. Menace, and I'll read you the rules to This Way Please, and I've got 2 given digits. Thank you very much, Mr. Menace, you're most generous. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. So this circle here is the sum of those 2 digits. Additionally, the digit in an arrow circle will repeat in a cell pointed at by that circle's arrow tip. So let's stick with this arrow here. So let's say this square was a 6. I think what we're being told here is that this digit here, the 6, will repeat in a cell pointed at by this arrow tip. So in one of those 2 positions. Yeah, it says this repeat can be one or more cells away from the arrow tip, but not the arrow tip cell itself. So yeah, so what we can't do is say it's going to repeat here, but which obviously wouldn't work in a 2-cell arrow, but I guess might work on a 1-cell arrow. But anyway, it's not allowed. Where this 6 repeats is in one of those 2 positions, i.e. a cell pointed at by this arrow. That's a really interesting rule. Anyway, and that is the rule, so do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, and now I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And I'm noticing an awful lot of symmetry in this puzzle. So what is not symmetric in this puzzle? Well, the givens are not symmetrical, and this arrow is not symmetrical. Everything else, if you rotate the grid 180 degrees, it sort of maps onto itself, which is instantly interesting and normally the sign of some very careful construction. Now, this arrow circle here must be at least a 7. How do I know that? Well, these 3 cells are all in the same row, so they must be different digits. So if we minimize these digits, we'd have 1 plus 2 plus 3. So the minimum of those cells is 6. Minimum of this cell would be another 1, and that means this square must be 7, 8 or 9. In fact, I've just had another idea about this arrow. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, here we go. Here's something else about this collection, this T tetromino that I've just highlighted here. Does this contain a repeated digit, this T tetromino? Well, the answer is yes, because if all of these digits were different, the minimum, losing my voice again. The minimum they could be would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10. Well, we know we can't put 10 into a Sudoku cell. So one of these digits must repeat, And it must be this one, because you can't, for example, make those two repeat. They're in the same box of the Sudoku. And once you've worked out this one is repeating, it must repeat with that cell. So instantly, I'm going to go into colouring. These two cells are the same, and they repeat in one of those three cells over there. Oh, now the other thing that's repeating, of course, is this. I must remember the extra rule we've got. This square, let's make that purple. Oh yeah, in fact this is nice. Where does this repeat? Given that it has to, this purple cell, this circle has to be pointed at by this arrow, which is pointing back this way. Well, it can't go there because you can't put two purples in box 1. It can't go there because you can't put two purples in column 2. So that's purple, and that's going to give rise to another purpling down there somewhere, isn't it? So by Sudoku, there's a purple in one of these three cells, and we can instantly say this can't be purple, because then I'd have to, if this was purple, you'd have to put 0 in here in order to make this arrow work, and you can't put 0 in a Sudoku. So that's not purple, so one of those two is purple. If that was purple, that would be purple. But the other thing we've got to bear in mind is that this arrow tip needs to point at a purple. So there's got to be a purple. Oh, I see, yeah. In fact, this is nice. Yeah, there's got to be a purple in one of these two cells because we need a purple pointed at by this. But it can't be there because that is a 4-cell arrow and purple is at least a 7. So if you were to put a 7 on this arrow and minimise the other squares, you would still get a double-digit number in that circle. So this is not purple, that is purple, ergo that is purple, and that is not purple. And this purple now needs to go somewhere. This purple's, because this arrow tip is pointing in this direction. Now, well, let's get rid of this cell as a possible purple and this cell, because if this was purple it would repeat in box 8. If this was purple, that would be purple and it would still repeat in box 8. So one of those three is purple. Oh, it's not this one. This is already seeing purple in the row. Okay. I don't know whether I can disambiguate this. I think the purple has to be in one of those two cells, which is almost good, isn't it? But not quite good enough. That's really interesting, though. There's a lot going on. I think it's safe to say that. We can't improve on that with box 5, can we? We can limit purple in box 5 because I don't think this cell can be purple, because if that's purple, there must be a purple in the direction of this right-angled this arrow, and if I put a purple in one of those, it will see that purple, so that's not purple. And I don't think this can be purple, because that's going to reflect into this cell, so purple is in... Oh, and that's the same... Oh, this is lovely. Right, where does purple go in box 5? Only there. No, only not there, only here. If it's there, it gets reflected here. If it's there, it gets reflected here. If it's there, it has to be in one of those three cells, and everything else is ruled out by Sudoku. So that's purple. Therefore, this is not purple, and that's purple. And purple is not the same as green, because green is on purple's arrow, so that loses its ability to be green. Wow, purple is in this domino in box 6, and this domino in box 9, and this cell in box 2... That is weird, but absolutely gorgeous. So now... Well, now I presume what we do is do exactly the same with the symmetrical arrow, do we? So this square here must be 7, 8 or 9. These 4 cells must include a repeated digit exactly the same way as that. Those repeated digits must be those 2 cells. Those 2 cells make a home for themselves over here. Now, can we work the same magic with this cell, which I'll make orange? yeah, it's going to work the same way. Because this arrow is pointing there, so there needs to be an orange in one of those 3 cells. This is the only valid option. Now we can't put orange on its own arrow, because I can't put 0 here. So orange is in 2 positions at the top of box 3. But also, this arrow tip needs to point at an orange. And you can't put orange, which is at least a 7, on this arrow, so that logic works the same way. Therefore we get an orange here, an orange in one of those 3 cells. Is that the same as I got the other way around? I managed to get rid of it from... Oh, maybe that will be... Maybe I'll get rid of a cell later regarding this orange situation. Because I think what I did next in the symmetrical situation is I looked at those cells, didn't I? And I asked, where's orange in the middle box? It still can't be here. Oh no, it can. Oh no, it doesn't work symmetrically because of the unsymmetrical arrow. No, it can be here. And the reason it can be here is that would be saying that this arrow tip is pointing at orange, which it would be. Oh, bother. That can't be orange. Orange is not the same as purple, so it's not there. Oh, in fact, that's really interesting. Orange is in fact in this circle, which I suppose by symmetry we might have expected, given that this was purple. But look, all the other cells are ruled out. Orange is not equal to purple because they share a row in row 2. Orange can't go here because it would reflect here and would clash with this cell. And orange can't go here because it would reflect here and clash with that cell. So that is in fact orange. So orange is in one of those 3 cells. Orange is not purple. So orange is in one of these 2 cells as well. That's strange though. I feel like we've missed a trick, or I've missed a trick there. Because how come I did so much better with purpling than I've done with oranging? That is the question that I'm now asking myself. And the answer is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Why was when I did purple, I was able to place a purple up here. And I was able to place a purple in box 3. How did I get that purple? I've not got a clue. So how did I do this? If that's orange, that means that one's orange. I'm happy with that logic. That meant that one's orange after we sort of worked out a bit of logic. This becomes orange. Oh, I know how. I know what I'm forgetting. This arrow tip has to point at something. Thank goodness for symmetry. Right. Because that made me wonder why I haven't been able to do more eliminations. But this arrow tip needs to point at an orange. It's not there. That would repeat the orange. It's not here. That would repeat the orange. It's not here. That sees orange. So orange is in one of those 2, and this orange sees that cell. So that's orange. Not therefore blue, because blue is on orange's arrow. Those aren't orange. That's not orange. Good grief. And now I feel like I've done symmetrical logic. But have we actually broken into this puzzle or not? That's the question. And what, if anything, do I look at next? I know that orange is not the same as purple. So there's got to be something else we can do here to make more progress. I'm far from sure I understand what that's going to be. Is it going to be these funny arrows around the middle box? This, yeah, this is basically dealt with. This orange is pointing to this, well, this arrow is pointing to that one. So this orange is done. Let's just try and let's just do a little bit of colouring just to see if we can. If those are yellow, that means there has to be a yellow along this string of digits. Yellow is not equal to purple, so you'd... yes, you can actually place yellow in box 6, believe it or not, because we need to repeat yellow in the direction of this arrow tip. It can't be there. That would put yellow here as well, and it would clash. So it's not there. It's not here because yellow is not equal to purple. So it must be there. So now, oh, this is ridiculously close. It's just beautiful. Now yellow, where does yellow go in box 4? It can't go there because then it will repeat here and you'll get 2 yellows. So it must go there because yellow is not purple. Don't know whether... So yellow's in one of 3 places in box 7. And is yellow the same as green? These are the funny questions we get to ask on Cracking the Cryptic. I don't think we know that, do we? I think it could be. Actually, it really could be. Yellow and green could be the same. So I may have to restructure my colours depending on what happens next. So I presume I can do the similar thing with red here, can I? So red must point to its, well, this cell must point to one of these cells. It can't be that one, it would repeat red in box 5. It can't be this one because red is not equal to orange, so it is that one. That then places red exactly there. Wow. Wow. And now we've got 2 arrows left that we've not used. Now this cell here is quite clearly not able to be any colour I've already placed except perhaps green. Maybe I start with this one then, because this definitely can't be green. It sees green. It can't be... Oh, but this one can be blue. Okay, so we have to be prepared for these arrows to also let themselves down. In fact, oh no, it's simpler. What we have to do is ignore the impact of Sudoku, which I'm only too happy to do, and use the impact of arrow tip logic, because this arrow is pointing to one of these 3 cells. So this circle, well, it can't be red, because if this is red, that's red as well. So this must in fact be green. There we go. And therefore that's not green. And now green, I don't believe it, green is placed in this box. And this is all going to work symmetrically with the other. Green is in one of 2 places in box 7. And this is all going to work symmetrically now. This arrow tip is pointing at yellow and blue. Well, it can't be yellow because there'll be 2 yellows in box 5. So this is a blue arrow. That's no longer blue. And this is a blue. And blue could be a 4, apparently. So this is the first time we've actually managed to map something onto a given digit. Now, is there any... that's it! Well, it's not it, actually. It's not it, but it does allow us to place. I can see things. I'm starting to see things here. Right, let's look at this. Blue, could it be 4? No, because it would reflect on this arrow, and there's still 2 cells to add in, which would, even if we minimise those, 1 plus 2 plus double 4 is 11, so we can't put 11 into this square. Ergo, this is not blue. Now, if this is not blue, where does blue go in box 2? There, by Sudoku. Where does blue go in that box? There, by Sudoku. All the blues are now placed in the grid, albeit I don't get to know that blue is 4. Now, does that work the other way round? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We don't. This 6 is not in the symmetrical position. What we can do, though, is look at the greens here. The green is in that domino, so we need to place a green in row 7, and it can't be in any of those 6 cells. Or these 2 cells. That's green. Wow. I mean, this is really lovely to me. It's lovely that you can get this sort of progression. We've now got all 6 colours that I've used so far. We have literally got all 6 colours placed in the middle box. So if I start colouring these ones, I'm going to have to resort to grey, which would be a bit dreary, wouldn't it? I don't think we want to do that. Okay, so what do I do now? I don't really have a good idea. I'm not convinced I'm going to be able to take the Sudoku further. I feel like I've used my arrow tips as much as I can. So maybe we've got to... Do I have to think about Sudoku with the greens? I'm not sure. I mean, green can't... We've already looked at this. Green can't be 4. So green is 1, 2 or 3. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we see what the effect of green being 1, 2 or 3 is. Of course, blue is the same. So let's put blue and green in at 1, 2 and 3. And see what that means. So this can't be 7 anymore. Because the way I made that 7 was making that a 1, 2, 3 triple, which it now no longer can be. If we make this a 1, 2, 3 triple, we've got 4 cells in box 2 that have to be 1, 2 and 3, and that won't work. So that's not 7. So now purple is 8 or 9. And does that logic work the same way the other way round? No, it doesn't actually. That's really weird, but it doesn't. It doesn't because I haven't been able to disambiguate the greens at the bottom of the grid. So I don't know that this square is the green. So I could absolutely have green here, and this could be a 1, 2, 3 triple, a 1 here, and that could be a 7. So that's no use. So it's more likely it's the purples that we've got to think about. So the purples are telling us what? They're telling us that we've got to have a meaningful digit on this arrow because we can't put 1s, 2s and 3s on it. So the minimum these 2 cells add up to is a 1 and a 4, which is 5. Oh, okay, so that's not 3. That's right, isn't it? I can't make this 1, 2, 3. I can't put 1, 2, 3 into both of those cells. So I've got to have at least a 4 on the arrow. So let's minimize those at 4 plus 1 is 5. Now you can't double 3 that. You can only just double 2 that. So that we can remove 3 from green. Good. There we go. So now what does this mean? If I make that 4 and 1, then I have to go double 2 in order to keep this down to a single digit number. But then that becomes... Yeah, that's lovely. Right, okay, let's keep going with this. Is it possible that this domino only adds up to 5, which is the minimum it could be, a 4 and a 1? No, it's not. Because if you do that, both of those arrows turn out to have to equal 9. And hopefully it's clear why that is. If this is a 4-1 pair, green becomes a 2. And this blue square must be a 3. But once you double 3 this arrow, you must add at least a 1 and a 2 to it, and you're going to get 9 as purple and orange. Well, purple and orange are different, we know that. So this is not a 4 and a 1. And if it's not a 4 and a 1, it must be at least 5 and a 1, which is 6. But these two are the same digit. So these can't be double 2. So this is a double 1. We've learned that green is 1. That's what we've learned, which is really rather special. So now we can get rid of 1s from all the blue cells. I should have done that by double clicking. Apologies. This is a minimum. Well, actually, we know I worked out it couldn't be 4 plus 1. That was true. So now it's got to be at least 4 plus 2, I suppose. If that's 4 and 2. No, we still have the problem. If that's 4 and 2. I still have the problem that's making this a 3. And I'm getting... Oh no, that works. Sorry. I was misadding up. If that's 4 and 2, we get 8 on this arrow. We get this becoming a 3, and we get 9 on this arrow. And that probably works. So maybe we can just rule out 5 from here. Or 5... Well, it could never be 5 and 3, could it? That would get to 10 immediately. But if it was 5 and 2... If it was 5 and 2... You'd have 9 here and 9 here. So there is never a 5 on this arrow. Okay, so it's either 2, 4 or it's 3, 4. Which is... It's interesting, but it's not actually quite good enough, is it? So there's definitely a 4 on this arrow. That's all I've managed to prove. I've got a 2, 3, 4 triple. Orange is 7, 8 or 9. So that's 7, 8 or 9. That's 7, 8 or 9. Can we keep orange down to 7? That's an interesting question. If I don't do that, I've got a 5, 6, 7 triple along there. If that's double 2, no, you can't. Even if that's double 2, that would then have to be at least 1 and 3. So this is also 8 or 9, which means this is also 8 or 9. Now that box has got a 5, 6, 7 triple on it. Red's become 5, 6 or 7. And that means... Hang on, don't I have to have a 1 on this arrow? Hang on, if I don't have a... Yes, of course I've got to have a 1 on the arrow. That's the simple way of doing it. If you don't have a 1 in this domino, the minimum these 3 squares could be would be 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is already 9 before we had this cell in. So there is a 1 on this arrow, and it's got to go there. And that disambiguates the 1s. There we go. Now what? Now, this square, if this is double 2, I've got 5, so this square is a 2, 3 or a 4, which is annoying. Is that... That's really annoying, isn't it? I thought that we were going to get somewhere with that. And we don't know about this. Yeah, in fact, we've got the opposite. We've got the reverse position. Green has come onto the arrow here, whereas blue is sitting off the arrow in box 2. So we've got to somehow figure this out. So if this is a 4, this would be a double 2, and this would be a 9. And that would be a 2. Ah, there you go. Right. Lovely. This is not a 4. Why is this not a 4? Well, if it is a 4, orange becomes 9, because that's the only thing we have to double 2 the arrow in order to keep it to a single digit number. But then blue is 2, which means this square is a 2, which means that arrow becomes a 3, 4, which means we've now got 9 here as well. So the whole trick with this puzzle is to keep purple and orange different. So that square is now we've got a 2-3 pair here. What does that mean? Surely that cracks it somehow, doesn't it? Now I've got 6 here for sure. And whatever this digit is bringing up the balance to 8 or 9. This is an 8 or a 9. Maybe I've got to label. I think I've probably got to do a bit more Sudoku here. Try and figure out what's going on with Sudoku of all things. These squares have only got the option of being 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is 4, 5, 6 or 7. And that reflects onto this square, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and this square, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Ah, but red, look, where does red go now in this box? Red has to go into that cell. So that square loses its ability to be 4. Oh, nearly. Nearly. So now there must be a 4 in one of those two positions. And we can see that because the 4 in box 2 is in one of those two squares and the 4 in box 8 is in one of those 3 squares. So, how do we take that forward? I know. That is a 4. So yellow is not 4. And if yellow is not 4, yellow is not 4. I know that seems tautologous, but it is true. That means that this square now, there's only one position for 4 in column 6. It's there. Oh, this is so clever. Now, this is a 9 arrow. Because if that's an 8 arrow, you've got double 4 on the arrow. So that becomes 9. All of oranges now become 9. All of oranges become 9. And this is perfect, isn't it? Because this is going to fix everything. Purple must become 8. I'm going to just get rid of those colours because I want to make them all 8. Like that. Now, these two have to add up to 6, so there's no 3, which means blues become a 3. Double click blue, turn it into 3. That square there's got to be a 2. Come on, we must be close. Well, this is a 5. Let's make this arrow work. That means that red is not 5 anymore. Yellow is not 5 anymore. So we can do a whole load of tidying up around those digits. We've now got a 6-7 pair here. This has got to be a 2. That fixes the 2 and the 4 at the top. That fixes the 4 in this box. Good grief. Red is not 5. We've worked that out from here. So this square is the 5 in box 8. That square is the 5 in box 2. And we now know where yellow goes. Yellow goes there. And now, can we keep this going? Does this? Yes, it does. It does carry on because of this 8 arrow now. What's this digit? It's a 1 or a 2. Well, it can't be a 1. So it must be a 2 and a 6. And red has just become 6. That means yellow is 7. That becomes a 2. That's a 2 by Sudoku. That's a 2 by Sudoku. Do those 2s keep going? Yes, of course they do. Of course they do. This is a Mr. Menace puzzle. 5, 6 and 7. What about these? They must be an easy win. 4 and 9. No. I don't think we know the order. What about these squares then? 4, 5 and 9. Nearly. 4, 5, 9. That's not 9. That's a 4 or a 5. Okay, maybe I've done all the 2s. What about 3s? I think I've done all the 3s. 4s. I certainly haven't done all the 4s. So are there any easy wins regarding the 4s? Perhaps. Yes, there's an easy win. We'll take that one. 4s go in there. That gives us a 5 here. 5 here. 4-9 pair in that column. 4 must go there. Okay, so 4s all of a sudden have now been done. 4, 4, 9, 9. Now what about 9s? 9s are done, bizarrely. 8s nearly done. I'll correct the colours at the end. I think the puzzle has finally yielded its secrets to us now. This is a 5-7 pair. We can do that. That's a 5, therefore. That's a 7. That must be a 6. This is 5 and 7 over here. Somehow that's not resolved. That's a 6 in the corner. That's a 6 there. That's a 7. That's a 5. That's a 7. That's a 5. That's how to solve the puzzle. And we'll just do the highlighting to make ourselves feel chromatically secure and admire this absolutely beautiful puzzle. 8s are purple, aren't they? 4s, did 4s get their own colour? No, they didn't. 2s, 4s and 5s were the only things that didn't get colours. I probably left... Oh no, hang on, that doesn't deserve a colour. That doesn't deserve a colour. There we go. I think that's chromatically consistent. What a beautiful, beautiful puzzle, eh? It's just lovely. And it wasn't actually that easy, at least not for me. I think there may have been some more efficient ways to do it. But the way these arrow tips work was so surprising and gorgeous. The fact that you could basically colour an awful lot of the grid. And it's surprising the potency of little short arrows with this rule as well. They really do play a role. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous puzzle. And then the fact that you had to sort of figure these arrows out by trying to make sure you didn't make purple equal to orange, which is always a good thing, was elegance indeed. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.